In this video we're going to make some spinning tops. Something like these. We'll start from a piece of square stock and turn it down to a cylinder, and then make the tops and color them and polish them. And we'll use a gouge and a skew to turn them. In this video I'll be explaining a little more detail than I usually do, because we're going to use this video at the county fair when we set up for our turning club. There's a lot of people that don't know how to turn, so I'll be explaining the tools we use and how we use them so that they get a better understanding. It'll be boring for most of the other people that watch it. And you get some of these tops that just seem to spin forever. This one here is one of them. It just goes and goes and goes. And we try to turn the tops out of domestic hardwoods like maple or your fruit trees, cherry, apple, pear. And the reason is you don't want to give exotic hardwoods to the children, because there's a lot of people that's allergic to the cocoboas and the rosewoods, and you don't want that to happen. So just use plain wood as much as conceivably possible, and try to make them to a size where if a smaller kid gets a hold of them, they're not going to swallow them. Most of the finishes I put on them are just a wax, and then use some magic markers to color them, and I'll show you as we go through that. So let me get set up here to get started on turning the stock down. These are some of the tools I'll be using: a spindle roughing gouge for turning the piece of wood round, a spindle gouge with a sharp point ground to a fairly sharp point on it to get down for closer detail, a skew. I like the oval skews, but a lot of people don't, so that's the one I like. A small scraper, a parting tool, a texturing tool that homemade. They make one like this commercially. This is just a little Dremel burr, and it's got a bearing and a magnet in here to hold it, so that's to texture it. Various colored pens that I've picked up through the years at closeout sales at craft stores. And we'll be using some drill bits and other stuff later on if we end up breaking one of them and have to replace the stem. This is a piece of big leaf maple. It's about 2 inches square and right around 9 inches long. I've taken and marked out the center on both ends and put a little pin punch in there. I'll put it between centers and turn it down now. I've got the lathe running at about 12 to 1400 RPM, and I'm just going to make this block of wood round now. It's turned around now, and I will take it and remove it from the chuck and put it in a different chuck to start turning the tops. What I turned it with is, in my chuck I have a step style center, and if you happen to get a catch, it allows the piece of wood to slip instead of hanging up and causing problems. I bought this one from Penn State. The originals are made by Sorby, and that one chucks into the jaws of the chuck. So let me change chucks out and we'll go on to top turning. We're going to turn the bottom half of the top now, which is this part right here, and we're not going to put a very sharp point on it. We're going to round the point over a little bit. They seem to spin better with, and they don't wear out as much. I'll be using a spindle gouge. I'm going to leave the center in for a while, and because there's a lot of wood sticking out of the chuck. And let's get started here. That's pretty good. We'll take and change centers and go to a plastic one with a plastic insert in it. Then I'm going to take my little scraper and I'm going to remove a bulk of wood right here. Take our spindle gouge and finish this part up here. About done. Knock all sharp edges off. We're going to take our skew and put a little notch right here on the edge. Take our piece of wire, I don't know whether you can see it, there it is. We're going to lay it in here and hold it down. See the smoke coming off of it? don't do much sanding on these. If you get your tool presentation right, but the only place you got to sand is down here on the stem, because you really can't get the tool in there to get it nice and smooth like I like it. So sand it smooth. This is let's see, piece of 320. Just want to take any rough spots off of it, so the little kids don't hurt themselves. Now I'll slide the center back for a second. We'll put a little texture on that, so when I color it, not going to do too much, because I found that people kind of like the natural color of the wood. The kids are all tickled with the fancy colors, but Mom and Dad kind of like the natural look of the wood, so just put a little stripe on it for them. Now if you notice, I didn't put any finish on this, and I'm not going to. I'm going to take my skew and part this off. And if you do it right, you'll end up with, cut little V notches in it, you'll end up with almost nothing to sand on the top, see? It's just smooth. Okay. Let's see if the little guy works. One completed top. Didn't take long at all. Now we're going to do this one a different way. I have some little plastic rods that I picked up at a plastics retail store. They're no longer where they were, so I'm going to have to find out where they moved to, or if they're still in business. But it actually made excellent little stems for these tops if you don't want to waste all that wood making a stem. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to poke a starter hole in here. I'm going to take just a wee bit under 1/4 inch drill bit and drill in maybe 3/8 of an inch. Back in a second. I have to go get the plastic rod. Okay, here's a little piece of plastic rod. I just happened to grab a green one. What I'm going to do is put some super glue in it and put it in the hole. Oh. Okay, we got that glued in there now. take a skew and just cut it off. It only needs to be about 3/4 of an inch long or so, if that. Now you can do the same thing with a wooden dowel, but if you, the next process we do, wooden dowels are a little weak to do this with. So round it off, then we'll take a little piece of sandpaper and clean it up. Okay, we'll take a quick cut to clean this up, get the glue off of it. Okay, that looks good. Move the center back on it. Now we'll straighten this out. And we'll start making our top. The lower you can keep the center of gravity, the longer these will spin. Okay, before I get too far, I'm going to texture this side again. Take a blue one this time and just do blue in there. Now I'm going to take my pointed gouge and see if I can turn this tip down. Pretty close. Hang on. The tip of this didn't come out quite right, but I have a little jig that I made up to take care of this. I'll get it set up and we'll use that in a second. Okay, what we have here now is just a little piece of nylon that I've cut a dovetail on the back of it for the chuck, and a hole that's just about a 64th bigger than this plastic that we're using. And we'll drive it in there and we'll put it in the chuck with the cut between the jaws, just like that. And we'll tighten her down and get ready to turn the rest of the point down. Now I got friends that accuse me of spending more time making jigs than I do turning, but I like to make things, so it's not too round. We'll straighten her out. Pretty good. Let's give it a quick sanding and see how it works. There you go. Another one done, this one with a plastic stem. That saves a little bit of wood. I'm really not worried about saving maple. It grows on trees around here. Now I'll show you how to turn a different style one here in a second. Now we're going to turn a different style, one that looks like an onion bulb. Let's see what we can do. about that noise. That's because the stem area is getting thin. And what you end up doing, actually, is if you do it right and ride the bevel hard, you end up putting actually chatter marks on there. Yep. I don't know whether you can see them or not, but when I dye them, you'll end up with it. You'll see it. Well, not dye it, but pencil mark it. Give it a quick sanding. Turn the speed down. Get the little onion colors out. How about yellow? Of course, we're going to need a green stem on it. Do some brown stripes on it. Looks kind of sad, doesn't it? Well, let's take some denatured alcohol and kind of use these pens a lot, and they start drying out. Well, actually, you burnish the ends of them. I think I could take a piece of sandpaper and hit them and get them working again, but I usually find them so cheap that I don't even worry about it. I just look in a closeout bin. Okay, let's part him off and give him a try. See if he works like a top. Whoops, where's he at? Oh, okay. Let me get out here. And there he goes. Well, hopefully by the time the fair rolls around next summer, with everybody in the club turning these, we'll have a 5-gallon bucket or so to give away to the little kids. I turned a bunch of them for last summer's fair. That was the first year we went to it. And I turned about 50 of them, and they were gone in a couple hours. Everybody liked them, even the grown-ups. Okay, I'm done for now. Maybe I'll add something a little later. Let me think about it.